Hey, g'day guys. It is Friday again, so we are going to do the weekly review of the ASX. Interesting week. But before I even start the review, I have to take care of something I did on the weekend, which was a Melbourne Cup sweep. I did a YouTube live last Sunday, where I sat here for about an hour, encouraging people to ring up. A few people actually rang. Other people just commented while I was doing the YouTube live. And anyway, they got a horse. And I can announce the winner was Melvin Correa. Is that how you say it, Melvin? Who had Bound Declare. So he wins the $100 Bunnings voucher. Second was Frankie Rossi, who had Prince of Arran. He wins a $50 Bunnings voucher. Third, J Block, who had Il Paradiso. And the horse that ran last was Rostropovich, which Trung had. So congratulations to all you guys. Now what I need you to do, I've got the actual physical voucher, so I need you to email me a postal address to the email on the screen right now. If you do that, I'll stick them in the post to you guys. No worries. Thanks for the people that participated. It was good fun. I've never done a YouTube live before, and I might do more in the future for special events like that, and maybe just to chat with people as well. Okay, so let's get on with the weekly review. Okay, so this week the XJO, the top 200 stocks, were up by 0.82 of 1% to close at 6,724.1. 117 stocks rose, 78 stocks declined, and 5 stocks remain unchanged for the week. Now looking at the top 5 stocks, fairly interesting this. NWH, which is NRW Holdings, was the week's biggest gainer, putting on 16.44%. My little friend Galaxy is there again for the second week in a row, putting on another 12% after putting on about 16% last week. ABC, which is Adelaide Brighton, which I do own as well, so that was good. They put on 11.59%. FBU, which is Fletcher Building, Kiwi company, put on 10.59%, and CTD put on $10.35% to finish at 19.73 in its corporate travel. The interesting thing there is NWH, ABC, FBU, and also James Hardie, which was 6, which didn't quite make the list, but was still had a good week of over 10% gain. Are all in that more that construction and infrastructure industry. So that had a good week, which I found quite interesting. Very cyclical stocks. I mean, ABC have had a pretty bad couple of years. I mean, NWH, I mean, they've had a pretty good few years, actually. But actually, what we'll do with NWH, we'll have a quick look at the chart of NWH just to see what they've been doing for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years in particular. And there it is there. As you can see, I mean, this stock was well over $4 back in the hairy days of 2012. And then it sunk from $4 down to 4 cents, a 99% loss over that time. And just at the beginning of 2016, this was a 4-cent stock. And I mean, it would have been a great time to be on there, but obviously, back then you're thinking they were going bust. It was a bad time for these companies, and the smaller ones were really suffering. But even the big ones were suffering. The Worleys and the Monadelphuses and those types of businesses they were all suffering at that time. And as you can see, from 4 cents, they're back now to over $2.50, hit $3 earlier this year. So that's a pretty good gain. Would have been a nice one to ride all the way up. I doubt anyone has, but if you're out there, let me know. I'll buy you a beer. So yeah, NWH had a good week, and yes, I just found it interesting that the infrastructure and construction stocks all seem to respond to something together. Okay, now the other stock I wanted to have a quick look at was my old favourite, Galaxy Resources. Last week I mentioned that I was going to check out the short positions on this particular stock, just to see if the shorters were actually closing their positions, and that was what was a bit of impetus to drive the share price higher. Now, I'll explain this here. On the 25th of the 10th, so nearly 2 weeks ago, Galaxy had 69,247,746 shares short sold of their total of 409 million, which was 16.91%. Now, the way the share price has been going since that date, I expected to see quite a few of those short positions had been closed. So when I checked, the most recent information was from the 4th of the 11th. This is off the ASIC site. And just over 67 million shares are still short sold, which is 16.4%. So just over 2 million shares have been closed. The short sold shares have been closed out. So that's not many for a stock that trades around 5 million a day on average. And I guess over that time frame, there would have been probably 30 to 35 million shares traded, and only 2 million of that was shorters closing their positions. I think that's really interesting, and it'll be interesting to follow this particular stock and the other lithium stocks over the coming weeks to see if the short positions do get closed, or whether the shorters actually take the opportunity to increase their position, their short position, if they have a high conviction that these stocks are still overpriced. Because, I mean, if the shorters get squeezed enough and they decide enough is enough and they've got to close their positions, this stock, actually all the lithium stocks, could rebound very, very quickly, and they already have to a certain degree, but not because of the shorters. And if the shorters have to close, 70 million or 67 million shares, oh dear, the share price is going to run hard. Will be interesting to see. I find it fascinating when the shorters start to get squeezed, what happens next. So there we go. That's the gainers for the week. Now let's look at the decliners. Okay, now this is not so interesting, because if you look at all these top 5 or bottom 5, Saracen, Regis, Northern Stars, St. Barbara and Resolute are all gold miners. And that is pretty indicative of a couple of things happening at the moment. One is the gold price has obviously had a pretty bad month and particularly a bad week. As you can see there, it's gone from what, 22.40 around about a month ago down to about 21.20. So, and this is in Australian dollars. So the gold price is falling, and on the other side of things, the Aussie dollar is actually strengthening at the same time, which is sort of a bit of a double whammy for the miners. So the gold miners have been struggling at the moment, and that's the reason for it. I guess at the moment there's not a lot of volatility there, and that's what obviously gold relies on. It seems that America and China have come to some sort of agreement over that trade war, and I guess the bears are just waiting for something else to hitch their wagon to. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one as well. But yeah, a bad week for the gold stocks. Okay, so that is it for this week. I did have an email, or actually it was a message on YouTube from a person asking if I could also keep track of the monthly winners and gainers. Now, I will do that, but I have to start from the first of the month. I haven't started in November, so I'll have to start in December and do a video at the end of December about what were the winners and losers in that month. Because all the information I put on here, I garnish for myself. I use an Excel spreadsheet, and every Friday I get the closing prices and use that to update the following week to work out the gainers and losers. There may be an easier way to do it. I don't really know, but I just prefer to do it myself. Then I'm not relying on any other website or anyone else to give me the information. Actually, one thing I have forgotten, I've got another slide here, just the week ahead, just a couple of things of interest. On Wednesday the 13th, the Australian Wage Price Index. So it'll be interesting to see what wages are doing in Australia. Obviously they're pretty flat at the moment. I think they're expecting about 0.5% for the quarter. Australian employment figures, it seems every month that these come out, there's more jobs being created, and It's actually 3 years straight that they've there's been more jobs created every month, and they're going for their 37th consecutive month, and they're predicting that it will be there'll be 20,000 jobs created in October. So that those figures come out on the on Thursday the 14th, and then on the 15th a speech by a Reserve Bank Board member. So yes, there we go. That is officially it for this week. I had plans to do another balance sheet breakdown of a stock in the coming week. So I don't know what stock I'm going to do yet. If you do have one that you would like me just to have a look at the balance sheets and give an opinion on, you can put something in the comments, and I will take that into account. Obviously, I can't do all of them, but if not, I'll come up with one myself, gaining a bit of knowledge just by looking at the balance sheet before you go any deeper into a stock. So I'll be doing one of them next week, maybe on Monday. I plan to do that. But as with everything with this channel, no guarantees. Thanks for watching, guys. Have an awesome weekend. Stay cool. Here in Perth, going to be 40 degrees tomorrow. I don't know, it's about 110, I think, in the old Fahrenheit, so pretty damn warm. Yes, so stay cool, stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you guys soon.